Howdy, Ken Cook with Prepared Marketing here, sitting down with Keith Sconiers of Northwest Advisory Group. Thanks for sitting and chatting with me again, man.
Absolutely.
Love it. So we're going to talk a little bit about marketing. I know you have a marketing background. You and I worked at the same company years and years and years ago. Probably, I was calculating yesterday, I think it was 8 years ago, probably.
Yeah, they fired me, which is why you were able to succeed in marketing, and I went into sales.
They eventually fired me too. It just took a longer time. So when you look at where marketing started and how you see marketing, especially for yourself today, what's the biggest change?
Wow. One of my first jobs out of college was selling Google AdWords. What do they call them? Keywords?
Keywords.
Yeah, I was selling keywords to realtors across the country, which was really exciting for about 3.5 months. And it's just completely changed. There's so much. There's Facebook now. There's LinkedIn. There's SEO. There's SEM. There's so many more solutions that are out there. There's content marketing. There's a lot of different. There's video marketing. It seems like it has just completely changed, and I'm not in the industry, but when I start evaluating what I should do from a marketing perspective, it seems like there's a lot more options than there ever was, and also with everything that is also offline, so direct mail and magazines and things like that. So
stuff's not going away.
Yeah,
it's getting more targeted, but it's not going away. You even do a podcast, right?
Yeah, I do a podcast.
I mean, marketing, right?
Right. Yeah, sure.
I mean. So I think one of the biggest changes I've seen in this is not so much the explosion of platforms, but that's certainly a part of it. I think the biggest thing is the technology and barrier for entry on higher end technology that has fallen. Where for you and I 10 years ago to automate something was a $100,000 process. 15 years ago, for us to have a CRM was a $100,000 product. Now we can go download CRMs for free. We can buy automation suites as cheap as $9 a month, $10 a month. That, I think, for me has been one of the biggest changes.
Yeah.
What do you, around this kind of automation piece, what is it that you see out in the marketplace? How do you see your clients starting to use this? How do you even see yourself potentially starting to use some of this?
Sure, yeah. So on the automation piece, I see automation in general as a way to get more done with less work. So recently we implemented DocuSign, which helped us save a tremendous amount of time, because every time we board a new client, we actually have to go in and do paperwork. So I remember sitting down and having to do the paperwork for a 6-location restaurant. And I was like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get that done. And I was able to do it.
Yeah.
And so I see it just as a way to get more done with less work.
I was talking to a guy yesterday, and he said one of the things he saw in small business and automation is not that automation replaces jobs, but that it allows people to do jobs that really matter.
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, is that what DocuSign's done for you guys?
It has tremendously, because if I can spend 4 hours on site really getting to understand how my clients want their systems to work versus 4 hours dealing with paperwork, then it strengthens my relationship with the client. I'm able to listen to them better, because I'm not thinking in my head, I got to get out of here and go back and deal with paperwork.
Right.
So I think it's tremendous. Yeah.
And so what I'm hearing you say is it gives you the ability to help them make even a better decision.
Yeah.
Because you're able to really do a better needs analysis process.
Yeah. And customer service in the United States for a lot of companies is awful, right? Because they haven't automated many of the systems that they're putting man hours into.
Yeah.
And so if a company can shift, right, anything that they're doing in their business to things that can be automated and focus more on serving clients, then you'll see that they'll actually be able to raise revenue, raise their satisfaction scores with clients, and keep business on the books.
The predictability of that, you know. One of my favorite authors He wrote Zombie Loyalist. His name is Peter Shankman.
Okay.
And one of the things he said in there is that people are used to being treated like crap from a customer service perspective in America. And that if you want to win, all you have to do is treat people one step above crap.
Yeah.
And that's a revolutionary change in America because we're just so used to being treated poorly.
Right.
And I think the more I've thought about that, the more I'm like, man, I put up with a lot of stuff that I would never put up here. But man, out there, you just get treated terribly, you know?
Yeah.
And I think you're spot on to say if we can automate some of that and create predictability in some of that, that's I think a huge win.
Yeah.
When you look at automation for your business, what are some of the potential things that you're even looking at?
One thing I'm looking at is I'm actually looking at ways to market my business so that I don't have to.
Okay.
Just recently created the automotive payments guide, which is a guide that walks automotive repair shops through every single aspect of what they're actually supposed to pay for merchant services, so that when someone comes in and says, "Hey, we can offer you a better deal," they already know where they're at. And so if I can get information out about that without having to push it myself, then that's one thing that I'm currently looking at.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And automation is great. Sales automation in that side is fantastic.
Yeah.
We do a lot of that. I'm a big believer in cold call automation. I know this sounds crazy, but automating cold calls is probably the coolest thing we've ever set up. is think about it. You go, you walk into a business, you shake a guy's hand.
Yep.
Your next step is, well, how do I get in front of this guy for 20 minutes? If you've got a system that's going to bridge that gap, how much more time, more money, more efficiency is there to be had?
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that gets me really excited, especially from like that sales side of things, where it's like, look, if we can automate something as terrible as cold calling, which I don't think is anywhere near dead. Because now that we live in a world where people don't know how to have face-to-face conversations, the guys who do are the guys who are winning. Yeah.
Yeah.
What other things are you seeing in this environment from a sales marketing perspective? Like you do a fair amount of selling. I mean, all of us as small business owners have to sell something, right? If we're not selling something, we're not in business. What's the real key in your mind to great sales?
Well, I think it's changed. I think that what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing through conversations on LinkedIn is that the entire industry of sales is changing because the buyer doesn't really need the sales guy anymore, because ultimately you can jump online and find out anything you really want to find out, and like service providers are as available as they've ever been just from a click of a button. And so I think the shift has gone from the buyer being pretty uneducated about what they're buying to having plenty of information about what they anticipate buying, and really looking for a salesperson that's no longer about just closing the deal and using a variety of different tricks to get people to buy, to looking for someone who's actually has the best interest in mind of the business and can sit on the same table as the client and understand their challenges and provide the right solution.
Okay.
So that's the change that I think.
How do you see that in your industry playing out? Because I mean, it sounds like from what we've been talking about, you're giving information out that no one else is giving out, but buyers are more empowered than ever. I mean, where's the balance in that? Is that across the board, or is that in certain subsects?
I think it's across the board. I think it's across the board because a buyer can log in anywhere, can log on to Google anywhere and get any of the information that they need. They can't really do it on credit card processing as much, which is why we're providing the information that most companies just won't provide.
Okay.
But across the board, I think the educated buyer is the real change.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, tell people how they can get a hold of you if they're interested in talking with a guy who really has their best interest at heart, especially around this credit card processing piece.
Yeah, sure. So you can reach me at northwestadvisorygroup.com.
Okay.
And you can also find me at NWESTAG.com. So that's short for Northwest Advisory Group.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn, you're on LinkedIn?
Yep. You can search my name, Keith Sconiers, on LinkedIn. You can connect with me there. And you can also connect with me, you can send me an email at keith@nwestag.com. sconiers.com as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thanks for taking a couple minutes to sit and chat with us. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And look forward to chatting with you again soon.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Yep.